I had 4 kids in 4.5 years, and I know.
Hives! Welcome back to Mom Style. I am Colette, and this is Chelsea, and today we are finally here. It has been a long time coming.
Oh, girl, yes, it has.
A sleep expert. This is Melissa Brown from Sleep Shop. You can find her information in the description below, but we have finally made it to the day.
So here's the real deal. Colette has not been sleeping. Wyatt is about 9 months, and I'm not talking about she's getting like 4 hours a night, 5 hours a night, and she's just needing a little extra. I'm talking about like, what do you wake up? Like every...
A lot. Like
hour?
Hour, basically.
Every hour.
Let me just, give the guy a little credit. Sometimes he will sleep for hours. Sometimes he'll sleep for 4 or 5 hours. That's very rare.
I think we should, if you're comfortable with it, Melissa, could we just do like what a normal consultation might be like with Colette?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. So you guys can do, so we'll start with you. I'm going to apologize now. I'm totally going to interrupt you a lot because
that's fine, girl.
Like the way I think, I was like, okay, well, what about this? And what's he eating? So you just start talking. I'll kind of just ask you questions. We'll go over some helpful tips. And then from there, you and I will debrief later on to kind of make sure we're sticking with it, and you can let me know if there's anything else you need.
This feels life-changing today.
Yeah, it will
like
be.
Mark it on the calendar. Today is the day my life begins.
So let's start. I want.
So here's my bed.
This is where she doesn't sleep.
Right.
Yeah.
So what age, name, kind of a day-to-day, like kind of the quick day-to-day, and then what happens after 7 p.m.
Okay. Wyatt.
Okay.
7 month, no, not 7. 7-year-old, 5-year-old. His name's Wyatt. Okay. Wyatt, 3 now, guys. Wyatt is 9 months old tomorrow.
Okay.
Happy birthday!
Hello, you're sleeping all night.
Yeah.
He should be sleeping all night?
Well, yeah.
Oh my God.
He can be. You guys, they can sleep through the night at 10 weeks. And that's not crying, that's not starving, that's not like any secret drugs.
Wow.
A 10-week-old that is eating enough during the day can sleep 12 hours at night without needing a meal. I am not encouraging people to like just let your 10-week-old sleep for 12 hours and not eat. They need to, this is a baby that is on a routine and a schedule that they are eating enough calories during the day so they don't need to eat at night.
Right.
Again, I think everyone needs to talk to their own pediatrician, their own lactation consultant, if they're exclusively breastfeeding or not. All of those things come into play. But yes, some babies as early as 10 weeks old are able to have big enough tummies to eat enough during the day that they do not have to wake up at night to have meals. With that said, that is not the norm. So the norm is more 6, 9, 8, 9 months. So the good news is with a 9-month-old, they are capable of self-soothing.
Okay.
They are big enough to eat enough to not have to eat between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m.
And he's big.
And, they're just at a good age to get into those deep cycles all night long and not need to wake up mom or dad.
Okay. Well,
so,
how do I do it?
So Wyatt's 9-month-old. Let's go through kind of like a sleep plan, sleep schedule for him. And again, it's a guide. They're not robots. They don't fall asleep and wake up exactly at these times, but this is kind of a gauge. So 7 a.m., wake up, all sleep cues go off. Lights go on, sound machine off, you change them, you talk to him, you get ready for the day. Around 8 or so, you go to solids because he's eating solids at this age.
Right.
Then somewhere between 9 and 11, he's going to take his morning nap. Morning nap. Extension of nighttime sleep and where most of the brain development happens. So it's really important that babies, especially Wyatt's age, get that nap.
Okay.
Again, I don't expect him to sleep 9 to 11, but somewhere in there. And
wouldn't that be nice?
It would be nice. But he can, he will. Once he learns to put himself down, he'll learn to put himself back. And they don't need to sleep for 2 hours, but preferably 2 sleep cycles. So somewhere in between an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half would be great.
Okay.
Okay, then again, milk at around 11, solid somewhere around noon, and then again a nap 1 to 3. Same thing as the 9 to 11. I don't expect him to nap 1 to 3 on the dot, but somewhere in that time getting a nap. He can't stay up much longer than 2.5 hours anyways, and he needs, again, to get some rest. Then at 9 months old, they've dropped their cat nap. So the longest he will be awake is after he gets up from his afternoon nap until he goes to bed.
Okay.
So if you're seeing on some days he is just wiped, move bedtime up a half an hour. There's nothing wrong with that. I would rather have him go to bed before he gets overtired than get down overstimulated.
Okay.
And that is a thing, like rule of thumb. You are always better putting your baby down earlier rather than later for naps or for bedtime.
Which is so interesting because you think, if I don't put him down early, and if I put him down too early, then they're going to wake up a lot earlier. They're going to be
100%. And it's the complete opposite.
Okay.
The complete opposite. So I have twins. They're almost 4. They are dropping their nap. You know, and we'll obviously go into all those details.
God
Toddler
bless
on.
you, first of all, for the twins.
Right.
Whoa.
Jeez.
Oh my gosh, I
barely
drank
heard.
so much wine to get through it.
I mean, I drink
I'm
so
sure
much
Chloe-
wine with just single kids.
Well, you know, whatever we do, you know, whatever it takes for us. So, but like, no joke, yesterday I had school all day. They had taekwondo because my kids need to learn manners and focus apparently. And they were so wiped. They were in bed by 6:15 and asleep. They didn't get up till 7 o'clock this morning. So it's opposite. And I get asked that so often. The earlier they go to bed, literally the later they sleep in. And that's because you're resetting their circadian rhythms and sleep cycles. And when they're going to bed later, they're overtired. So like, you know, when that we were talking about when you pass out?
Yes.
Like, and you wake up at like 3 in the morning and you're like, what did I say? What did I do?
Yes.
Why am I in my clothes? Like, what happened? You check your phone. You're like, what did I say? You know, I know. So it's kind of like that. So like when that's like the equivalent of a toddler or a baby going down so tired, they literally wake up almost in a panic.
Right.
Between 4 and 7 a.m. because that's when their lightest period of sleep happens. And they don't know it's 4 a.m.
Yes.
But if you're going to come in and breastfeed at 4 a.m.,
They're like, it's fine.
yeah,
She's
they
fine.
know
they're
it.
never
Yeah,
going to
they
deny the milkshake. So he is depending on you to put him back to sleep versus looking in his room being like, oh, I'm in my crib, rolling back over or to the side and putting himself back to sleep. So really, independent sleep is the biggest thing. A baby that learns to fall asleep on his own will also learn to put themselves back to sleep on their own. And that's huge because they wake up through different cycles all night. They start in a REM cycle, they start in a non-REM cycle, and then they go to a REM cycle right at that 45-minute. Like every client is like,
yes, why 45 minutes?
Because that's when they transition to REM cycles, which the REM cycle is their filter sleep, you guys, and that is so important for babies to get not only during the day but at night because that's like all the new stuff they're learning. It's like their filter. So
Okay, wait. Can you go back over that? Because I think this is really important.
yeah. So babies go into different like levels of deep sleep and light sleep. There's a lot of different cycles, but the biggest cycles are non-REM cycle is when a baby first falls asleep. They're deep sleep. They can sleep through anything. They're kind of out. Then around 45 minutes, sometimes it's 30 for some babies, sometimes 50, but I just say general sense, 45 minutes, they transition to REM cycle, the very needed sleep. And so once a baby wakes up to transition, if they don't know how to put themselves back to sleep, Wyatt, they're asking for mom to come put them back to sleep into that REM cycle. However, had Wyatt gone down to his non-REM on his own, when he wakes and he's able to put himself back to sleep, once he masters that skill, he'll go back into his REM cycle without you, therefore not every hour needing you to breastfeed him back to sleep. Because the breastfeeding every hour is just you're basically putting him in that REM. He's not getting there on his own. Does that make sense?
So if there's the non-REM and then there's into the REM, and how much time is that?
It's usually around 30 to 45 minutes too. It's a little different. Yeah, it's a little different. So with that said, the sleep environment, like babies won't transition to REM cycle if they're in pain, if they're hungry, if it's too hot or too cold. Temperature is crazy big deal for babies.
That's important.
I'm always stressed about temperature.
Oh, and you should be.
Stressed.
It's very important. So the ideal temp is 68 to 72 in a nursery.
Wow.
It's way colder than people think. Like
No way.
Why? Without blankets?
Well, I mean, they can have blankets on, but the air, you want air circulating. That's just better for safety issues. But you want it cooler because when babies go into these different,
They get hot.
yes, their temperature rises in between sleep cycles.
That blew my mind.
Yeah. So what happens is, do you know how it's awful to try to sleep when you're hot? Like you guys, your baby's room should be like Vegas, dark room and cold. I mean, you think you sleep in Vegas.
Love that.
Yeah, you
And
think you sleep
everybody
in.
knows what it's like to sleep in Vegas.
Sorry, I kept interrupting. No, but everyone thinks you sleep in because you've been out all night, which yes is part of it. But it's also because you have like the most ideal setting, and then you throw in a sound machine with white noise or rain, and you are like gone.
Oh my!
So does the pajama like thickness matter?
I'm glad you're saying that. I was going to say something.
That my husband and I do.
Thickies.
I don't want to say we argue over it, but we definitely have several conversations over it.
Heated.
I think they need to be the thick, like warm ones, especially in our California winter, which is not that cold. But he keeps putting him in the lighter one.
The thick ones, I feel like he sleeps worse though.
Because he might be too hot. Boys tend to get warmer than girls. I will say that. Okay. And then, so here's things to test. If their hands and feet are cold or their little nose cold, too cold.
Okay.
Forehead sweaty, too hot.
Right.
So I actually love Kickee Pants or any of those.
Oh, Kickee Pants. They're so good.
Like, not only are they the cutest,
Yes.
and I had boy-girl twins, and they make everything in a boy-girl, so, like, that's all they did. They had, like, matching pajamas till, like, they grew out of them last year. But they're the best, but they help regulate temperature.
Really?
And they're so thin, so even when it's...
Because they're bamboo, right?
They're bamboo, and they don't sweat in them. Oh. And so when it kind of helps regulate it on itself.
See, now I would think that was too thin.
In certain circumstances it is, you put a sleep sack over.
Okay.
So it depends. So there's a dance. There's not one perfect pajama and one perfect sleep
No, because
sack
every
or
baby
whatever.
is obviously
every
different.
baby.
But I think the things that you were saying about monitoring, like whether they're sweating or whether their hands and feet and nose are cold, like that's huge.
Yeah.
And my baby monitor tells me how warm it is in the room. Yeah. I mean, it's not accurate at all. I know it's like 10 degrees hotter than it really is in there. Because I also have the Dyson fan that I can put on a certain temperature. Which
is great. So, and I think I love any sort of air movement in a room. You don't want stagnant, like, air.
It's a Purifier also,
perfect.
So that's good, right?
That's perfect.
So the other thing you mentioned was a sound machine.
Yes.
And this is another thing that, like, we go back and forth on, my husband and I. Is there, like, a level of loudness that you should or not? I personally like it a little bit louder because we have dogs and they bark and then they wake them up. My husband's, like, super concerned about his ears.
His ears. Okay. So I get asked this a lot.
Okay.
And everything I have read, I did not do the study on sound machines, but I read up on it, and that was a concern a couple years back, and they found no correlation between, like, eardrum damage or hearing damage and sound machines. However, I wouldn't put it under their pillow.
It's like across the room.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's like as far away as the dresser kind of a thing. And it's not loud to where you walk in and you're like, whoa, this is loud. It's just not like ding.
Totally. Well, like mine is so
low.
My kids, I have 4 kids. Theirs is so loud, like, our friends make fun of us. Like, when you walk down our hallway, it sounds like the Amazon rainforest. And, like, my kids are, like, gonna, like, be in college and it's gonna rain outside and they're gonna be like,
okay,
like,
so that's a good
associate-
question. What sound do you use?
Rain or white noise. It has to be a consistent sound. So back to that point, it should be loud enough to block out outside noise, UPS, dogs barking, whatever else. It should be loud enough to bring comfort, especially for, like, the younger babies. That repetitive noise, much like the womb was, is good. No ocean. No.
Ooh, I just switched to the ocean.
I know.
Why?
I know.
I did
because
ocean before.
it goes too low.
It goes in and out. And so they have found, so one of the studies that when they were making sure it wasn't making people, like, hard of hearing, was they tested the different sounds. And their brain waves and deeper sleep were found in the consistent noise, white noise or rain.
I'm going to go rain.
I'm going to go rain. I like the rain.
I'm going
you
rain.
guys, and I feel
rain.
like it's like this weird thing, but like when it rains out and then you have the rain in there and it's like dark and cloudy, I swear they sleep even longer. It's like amazing.
So good.
Yeah.
You've talked about heat in the room.
Yeah, temperature.
You've talked about sound machine. What else?
Okay, so ideal wake time. So she's got it down. Like, Wyatt's going to bed at a certain time. We just want him, I would rather you put him to bed 30 minutes earlier and not have him fall asleep when he's feeding.
Okay, so how do I do that? Because the minute I pull, like, it's like,
yeah.
Like the minute I put him in the crib.
You just have to start getting used to feeding him not around bedtime. So that will start during the day. So like in the morning.
He does it now during the day too.
That's what I'm saying. So like you have to feed him when he gets up from a nap, not before he goes down for a nap. I know.
And then how
And this is the hard one to break. This is the one that is super lame
Because
to do.
a lot
But
of
it's
times-
so worth it, you guys. It's so worth it.
I'm doing all of it. So.
Okay.
So.
Are you sold?
Yeah, like I'm so sold. But I'm also overwhelmed. So what do I do tonight?
Okay, tonight what I want you to do is the schedule we talked about. Feed him at 5:30, give him his bath, put him in his jammies, feed him. Do not let him fall asleep while he's eating.
Got it.
And then put him down, and then I want you to text me. And this is what I'm going to help you with, is that you can text me, call me, whatever you need to, and I will walk you through step by step. It's not going to happen overnight. It's slow steps to get Wyatt to where he needs to be.
So
but we're going to be in touch a lot.
If he's crying tonight, I'm fine with letting him cry.
No, I don't want you letting him cry. I want you doing intervals going in to help soothe him.
What are the intervals?
So the intervals are
it
going to,
start like 5
it
minutes?
starts at 5 minutes. You
Okay.
can start at 10 minutes. It's comfort level of mom and dad.
I'll start at 10.
Okay, so start it at 10.
You're going to let him
gonna
cry for
be
10 minutes.
surprised.
You know what that means.
I've done that before.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're going to be surprised at, like, sometimes 5 minutes feels like 2 hours. Sometimes 10 minutes.
It feels like a long time.
It feels like a long time. So I want you to open a bottle of wine. I want, like, good wine. Like, really good wine.
I don't drink shitty wine, girl.
As you shouldn't. And then I want you to call me. I want you to text me. You can send me hate mail. You can be like, dude, this is never going to work. And I can handle
get her
anything.
through it?
I am there.
I'm so glad not to be getting those texts.
Totally. I'm going to get you
I'm
there
off.
emotionally.
I'll be there for the wine though.
Okay.
Yeah, the wine. That's what a good friend. That's what a bestie does.
Yeah, I'll be there for a wine. You be there for everything else.
Yeah, you can yell at me. I'm not opposed. This never has not worked as long as you follow the guide, as long as you're consistent, and I'm going to help you be, and I'm going to hold you to it, and I'm going to tell you, Colette, you can just hold him and snuggle him, or you know what, you need to be tough on this one because we're teaching him bad habits. Okay. And we will get there together, I promise, but it's a process. So don't worry about what you're doing tomorrow at noon. Do tonight. Text me, call me. We will get there, and we're going to do it together. And it's going to be so fun. We can do it.
Let's do it.
Do you feel good?
No. Yes.
Do you feel amazing?
I feel like my bodysuit is very far up my butt.
It looks
Well,
good.
there's not anything Melissa and I could do.
Follow along.
So, but this was
I'm gonna go.
This was incredible. Enjoy your drive home. Thinking about that visual. Thank you so much for coming.
yeah.
You know you're going to be here like 100 more times, right?
I can't wait. I can't wait. This was so fun.
Move
this
in.
is so fun. Thanks, guys.
Oh my
this
God,
was
of
awesome.
course.
This is really fun.
No,
So.
thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Follow, subscribe, all it.
Okay.
What was that?
What was that? What
Follow.
was all it?
I was like, do I have to do that too?
No, don't.
Like,
Ever
is
do
that a thing?
No one does that.
We should erase that.
No, I'm
Is there
going
training
to.
for that?
Cutting that. Okay, guys, make
Okay.
sure you follow my journey. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Make sure you check out
questions
Melissa.
down below for Melissa because we're going to have her
Yeah,
back.
we're doing it again. And we can do that. And I love those. Like, if I can look at the list of questions, we can, like, power through them.
Ooh, she's going to be
And-
checking in on the comments, guys.
Yeah,
So
I'd love
let's get
to.
some things done. Let's get more people with Plus America Sleep.
Melissa just held Wyatt and said, he's tired. You're welcome. Let's go put him
He
down.
stopped crying. He stopped talking. And now she's
Melissa just held Wyatt and said, he's tired. Let's go put him
And he
down.
stopped crying. And he stopped talking. And now she's going to put him to sleep.
I'm going to video it.
It's too light. It needs to be much darker in here.
Does that mean she needs blackout
She needs blackout shades. And even blackout shades, and then get Velcro, so you can, because there's going to be light that comes on the side. Get
That is
Velcro.
so loud, Colette.
I'm trying to just do what I can right now. Still too bright.
Okay, so blackout shades, too light. It needs to be dark. The mobile is so darling, but it's distracting him, so he needs to have it above. He needs to take it off. Okay, and then is there a sound machine in here?
There is.
Okay.
There's a shusher.
Okay, so we need to get a sound machine.
I have
Colette!
Sonos.
Well, is it going to go through your whole house, right?
No, I can
Okay.
just do just this.
Well, we can just kind of do like what this is like. So look, okay, oh, Bubba's, honey. A couple ways you are gonna soothe him is like, oh, there he is. Okay, he's getting there. Shh, 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 shh. And just kind of let him be. If is he a tummy sleeper?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's getting to his tummy, which is good. So let him help him get there. And then tummy sleepers usually love the butt pat. So right now, clearly, speaking of developmental stuff, this is a big one. This is like a huge one when they start crawling, standing. It interrupts their sleep. It doesn't make them forget how to sleep, it interrupts their sleep. I lay him down, give him his kisses, a little song. Okay, good night, Bubba's. Night-night. Good night.
We want to hear you sing.
Okay, well, that's for a special time, and I don't want to traumatize the poor child. So, and then you honestly would leave. I know this seems crazy, I know it seems, but I would just leave and let him be. Okay, good night, Bubba's.
And then what it
Night, night.
cries. You just
Okay,
let him cry.
and we'll show you, because he's going to cry.
What if he doesn't? If he just goes to that. If he doesn't, it's like you're moving
So
in.
probably stop crying right away. I would let him be. It's totally safe. There's no blankets. It had a fitted sheet. He was good to go. You want the sound machine? He's not crying. Okay, well then let's. Oh, he's talking. No, that's not crying. Let him go. Go, 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 go.